idea, when Kenyatta took over power, despite all the crimes that the white people, through their governors and administration, colonial administration, did to them, even some people colluded with the colonial people to either torture Africans, kill them, take their land. He never revenged against those people. In fact, to the shock of very many who thought that if Kenyatta takes over power, he will put a war on revenge against these white people, like what happened in many African countries where they chased away all the whites in that country or even took back the land. Kenyatta never did that kind of thing. When he got into office, he was a president for everybody else, and he never touched anybody. Yeah, and when Moi also took over, there were people in government who never wanted him. Actually, there were people who were fighting Moi as a vice president very viciously. Moi never went again for those people until attempted coup of 1982. Yes. That is when Moi was a very calm, quiet, he had no problem with anybody, became a dictator. Then Kibaki took over 2002. There was every reason for Kibaki to revenge. He got every reason. Nyayo or Kanu administration for the almost 24 years did a lot of atrocities, both economically, both socially, on the Kenyan people, and even the opposition, and even other leaders. But Kibaki never, at any instance, sought revenge. He allowed Moi and went like that. Remember, there was a time some minister, I don't know which minister he was, a minister of land or something, he tried to say that we should take back the land that Mzee, and it is Kibaki and Baba who said, wachana na huyo Mzee. And that issue went like that. Of course, later on, that minister plus Bonaya Godana disappeared with a plane in somewhere in Marsabit. I don't know, it's called, I've forgotten his name. When Kibaki never revenged, but he performed. I thought that the president would be able to set a tone for development, because he came up with a development economic manifesto and economic propaganda. Let me just call it economic propaganda. And people believed in it. I was thinking that he would set the stage for economic development. But from the things, the way he is carrying out himself, his body language does not look like he has a grasp of what he wants to do, or the intention of doing exactly that thing. I would actually advise him to forget about the opposition politics. He's not an opposition politician. He's no longer campaigning against a government. All of world over, people who are in power are always the weakest in the eyes of the people, because every expectation are always on the government. The reality is, even God created you, but he allowed you to work to eat. But in politics, people imagine that you don't have to work to eat, that the government is supposed to make you, to feed you. And that is what William came up with. He brought the idea that we will feed you, we will give you everything is free, this, which he will not deliver. You could just allow opposition to do their politics and just focus on economic transformation and changing the lives of people, which is very easy if you ask me. Of course, government is a very complex entity, because it is an octopus with so many tentacles. Yes. But sometimes if you're a president with a strong hand like him, then he can be able to marshal all the support in government and have even 5 or even only 5 or 4 things that he can do. In fact, if I was William Ruto as a president, from day one, I would set my agenda clear that for the next 3 years, 2 years, we want to make sure that we bring back our agriculture from where it was back to where it's supposed to be. Like if you look at Museveni in Uganda, he's not doing so much. He's not doing so much. And the reason why Ugandans, even if Museveni will want to serve there 100 years, he dies, buried, but his corpse still rules Uganda. And the Ugandans have no problem. He made sure that Ugandans have got food. It is only, I think in East Africa, the countries that have gone, Uganda is a country that I've seen, ukiwa na hata shilingi 30 and you request for a meal, it doesn't come in a small plate. It comes a soup, like a soup bowl. No, it is a big plate. Kuna ugali, kuna mboga, kuna nyama, kuna matoke. And it is a lot of meal. If you look at Ugandans, they have got big bodies. Even their women, they're extremely very big, beautiful women, because there's a lot of food in that country. And I would expect that William Ruto learn from his mentor, that forget about the big projects that President Uhuru did, because President Uhuru took a lot of loans that was doing infrastructure. So infrastructure is already done.
Yes.
At least for now, even those who went for holidays, you realize that for a very surprising time, that this is the first time that when you go, even in your rural area, you don't just meet a road that has got pothole. The president tried to modernize all our infrastructure, especially roads, to a standard that is supposed to be there. So I don't think William Ruto should focus on things like roads or infrastructure. Maybe only go on maintenance or a few rural roads that are still hanging that was supposed to be done.
Yes.
But for me, if I were him, from day one, you go to agriculture full throttle, both blue economy, which has got a lot of money internationally. It could go to Lake Victoria, it revolutionized the entire area. It is a multi-billion project. It is a low-hanging fruit. Surely Lake Victoria is a low-hanging fruit. There are many lakes, Lake Turkana there is a low-hanging fruit. There are many things, agriculture. There are many land that are lying idle in Rift Valley. Maize is there. Sorghum is there. We can produce so much. There's a time I went to Mwanza in Tanzania, and I was shocked when I went to another town there. Watu hawaendi hata kwa duka to buy oil, cooking oil. No. Do you know what those guys do? Government has sensitized their people, the local government for those provinces. They have sensitized their people. Watu mepanda sunflower. So you carry your sunflower bags, like 2 gunia mbili. Then there's an Indian with a machine ya turn them into oil. So people are going with sunflower and they go back with cooking oil. Then supermarket people don't go to buy oil. We need things like that. There are countries that government, especially the government of Kenya, is supposed to partner with. I am not against China, but I don't like their predatory business models, because they would want to do the business that you are also doing.
Yes.
And that is not one thing I want. If the government can partner with India, for example. India is so good with machineries, especially machineries that are tailored to exactly what you want, what you produce, and they're durable machineries. I would expect that the president focuses on India. I was looking at Modi, the Prime Minister for India. Almost he has set the stage like the Chinese. And he has said between this period, India must conquer the world. And therefore, a country, even US partnered with them the other day. Actually, US partnered with them on defense, on science. I was expecting that the president will take a goodwill either from former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, who is very close friend to the Modis and also the people. Aanze kuangalia vile they can be able to do business together. Waangalie ile tall oil or whatever things, that oil that we discovered, how best it can be done by partnering with other oil producing countries. Instead of selling the port of Mombasa, you can even sell a few blocks of oil. Just not sell them, but what do you call it? Is it selling or what? Just like what Uhuru did. Yes. You allow those the companies to drill, they get back their money, but you also get revenues out of it.
Yes.
Because right now as it is a resource that is not helping us. But time is going, but we have a lot of needs. If I was William Ruto, there's a lot to do than politics. You still at your age, at your period, less than 200 days, you umeshapanda nyuma ya pick up your campaigning is like it doesn't send a good message for development. And the moment you keep on doing that kind of thing, that's why I was telling you, people like Dennis Itumbi, they need to by now begin pressurizing particular government agencies, government institutions, and managers in a particular government, within the government, to begin delivering. Because if he continues to sell propaganda like that, people will begin developing an attitude that, okay, these people are just talking heads. They're just talking heads. And they will continue like that within 1 or 2 years. Public trust gone. And the moment public trust is gone, they should ask President Uhuru Kenyatta what happened to him. He will run mad, because everything you touch turns into coal. If it is gold, it turns into coal. If it is not coal, it turns into sand. I wish the president now would forget about this politics and focus on development, because that will be the basis on which people will make a decision on in 2027. People should not imagine that he's so indispensable, so superhuman, that he cannot be beaten in 2027. I can assure you, they always say that luck knocks at your door once, and if it comes back again, then it is by miracle. If the president does not deliver, the luck might not come back again. And if he's supposed to win again, he will have to do more than just campaigns.
Yes.